we've gotten so used to just walking into a room, those modern conveniences of just flipping on a switch and having the lights come on, or going down to the refrigerator and just opening the refrigerator and getting something cold to drink, to being able to turn on the water and having some water come out of the faucet. But what happens when the grid goes down and we don't have power? We lose up power a lot up here, and so it's always nice to have some backup lighting. So I wanted to go over some lighting that I have used through my childhood and adulthood, and just show you some of the variations of and some ideas of what you can use when that power is out to light your home and maybe even accomplish some tasks and stuff like that. So let's get to it. So the first thing that we should always start out with is candles. Everybody uses candles. Candles are a benefit. They give you a lot of ambient lighting, you know, the ambiance. You can use candles, but they're hard to do tasks. Here's some candle lanterns. So candles themselves are inherently a little dangerous, so you want to be a little careful when you're using candles. But basically, you know, I like to use candle lanterns because it protects the candle, so that if it tips over or something, it gives you a little time to correct it so it's not catching anything on fire. Here's a couple of candle lanterns. Like you can see, this one here is kind of a hanging one where you can put 4 different candles in there. This one is kind of a chandelier that you would use if you're out, you know, in the backwoods or something like that. But I wouldn't recommend something like that. This little guy here, you can see there's actually a candle burning in there. It doesn't produce much light. This is more just for looks and aesthetics, you know, doesn't really do much for you. And that's the problems with candles themselves. You can see, you can just open this here and the candle's inside of there burning away. But the problem with candles is that you just don't get much lighting. But, you know, this is a nice candle lantern if you got to run out to the barn or something like that and just, you know, do some quick chores or whatever, and you don't want to light up a light, oil light or a propane light or anything like that. This is a nice little candle lantern. It protects it. You still get a lot of heat coming out of the top, so you want to be careful up there. But lighting this is pretty easy. You know, you just pull up this little rod right here, you light your candle, and then you lower it back down in there, and this becomes an easy way to carry this around and accomplish some tasks. But it's not going to be any detailed tasks. That's the problem with candles. You know, they don't throw out that much light. To blow this out, obviously, is pretty simple. You just pull this up and you're done. So, really nice candle lantern. So that's candles. We'll jump into some oil lamps too. That's the next step up. And I like oil lamps, and I'll show you a couple of different types that I like. So oil lanterns are the next step up. So you have candle lanterns, and then you jump to oil lanterns. Now, oil lanterns, different styles. And they can do something that's just good for ambiance and lets you just do some common things around the house. But then we can get up into these Aladdins, which I'll show you, which really brighten up a room. So let's look at those. So the first one here is we have just our standard oil, hurricane lamp that you see here. Basically you just take the cover off here, and then you just you're lighting the wick in here, and there's oil in the bottom and down here. But you light that wick, and then just replace your cover, and then you can adjust the flame a little bit up or down, but it just kind of gives you a little bit of lighting, and it lightens up a room and allows you to walk through the room and to do some things like that. For any task or anything like that, it's not going to work. But this is great just sitting on that end table or something like that, just to give you some room light. And then again, to blow this out, you just put your hand on the back side of this like this, and then you just blow across the top, and it blows it right out. So that's one type of oil lamp. And then we have these hurricane lamps here. These are great, a little bit more light, so that if you want to go down to the barn or outside to feed the dogs or anything like that, or the animals, it's a little more protective. So the first one that we saw here, you can't really, it's made out of glass. You tip it over, this mantle or the flue, the chimney, can fall off, break and stuff like that. This one's a little more protective, and things are going to happen, can be a little more safe. So this one here, again, you just take this lever and you lift this up like that, and then you go ahead and just light it in here, light the wick, and you can get that turned up to whatever height you want to give you some light. Drop that lever back down, and then now you got something that you can carry and actually go out and actually accomplish some tasks. Again, nice light, throws a nice light, but for anything detailed like reading or anything like that, it doesn't really work. So, and this one, to extinguish this one, again, just drop that lever down. Now you have the globe lift up and just blow across the bottom like that, and it puts it right out. So, really nice one. And this one, nice clean fuel in there, not much smell at all, so you don't really have to worry about it. The one I really like the most is this Aladdin lamp. Basically, this is an oil lamp again. Really nice feature about this one is it throws out just as much as a 60 kilowatt power bulb. So what you do with this guy is, now you don't want to touch that mantle in there and this the chimney here. So you pull this base off right here, right, and then drop this down, and then you can light this wick right around here like this. So again, it's just burning oil like we typically normally do. Then you drop this back on here, tighten it back down, and then it's burning just like a kerosene lamp, one of those camp lamps. And you can turn it up to get a little brighter or a little dimmer. But this starts to throw equal to a 60-watt bulb. So this will really light up a room. You can do reading by this. You can accomplish any task that you want to do. Really does a good job on lighting up a whole room. And it burns, a full tank of this lasts around 12 hours. So you got plenty of time. Again, no noise. You don't listen to this. Sounds great. Doesn't really bother you, and and it's pretty well protected, and it's not going to injure you at all. One thing I do want to tell you though is the tops of these, so you're creating heat. There is a lot of heat coming out of the top of this. So you want to be really careful. If I had a paper towel or something, I'd show you. You don't want to put anything over the top of this or have this near anything flammable. The heat coming out of here will actually catch stuff on fire. So you want to be careful and keep the top of this clear of anything flammable. But again, to extinguish this, so you can see how we can get this right up and nice and bright. To extinguish this, again, just put your hand on the back side of the chimney and just blow across the top. So just like that, pretty simple. So the last thing I wanted to show you is one of these propane lanterns. So throws a lot of light, really good for accomplishing any type of task, reading. It is kind of noisy when it's going though, so you're listening to a nice low shh all the time. And then, so the other drawback of this guy is that the length of this canister, how long this lasts. And then you got to keep refilling them. So if the power's out for a lot of days, or if things really hit the fan, it's going to be hard to find these canisters or get these filled, or when they run out, you're out. You know what I mean? So there's not much you can do about that. But I'm going to show you real quick, how you can refill these with a bigger tank. So, but again, great for doing a lot of tasks, and it really can give you some good lighting. So I'll show you a neat little way to refill these little 1-pound canisters. So 1-pound canisters are great. A problem with these is they run out pretty quick, and then when there's a big problem, they're hard to find in the stores if the power's been out for a long period of time. But you can refill these guys. So you take a big 20-pound tank like this, go ahead and refill these. Basically, this gas 1 adapter right here basically just screws onto a 20-pound tank just like this. You get it screwed right on there like that, and then you take your 1-pound tank and you get that screwed right in all the way. And then once that's screwed in, now you take and you turn on your valve on the top of your 20-pound tank, turn this upside down, count to 60, 1 minute, 60 seconds. Once that's done, you take and go ahead and flip that tank back up, take this back off, and you've got your tank filled. One thing I will tell you to do is take some soapy water and just put it around this top after you've refilled it, just to make sure you're not getting any leaks around there. And if you are getting leaks, you'll see lots of bubbles. But it's a great way to refill these 1-pound tanks. So I wanted to show you real quick kind of how to prepare and install the Aladdin mantle for the oil lamp. This is an Aladdin mantle. Comes in a box like this. You want to be very careful that you don't touch any of the mantle itself. You'll damage it. So you put it on something that, you know, I'm just using a little cast iron fry pan here, but you want to put it on something that won't, you know, catch fire. And basically all you do is you just take a match or, you know, something, and you just basically, it's going to flash. I'll show you. So it just does that, and then it's basically like a mantle and a kerosene lantern. Now it's burned off, the protective coating's burned off, and it's ready to install. So I just wanted to go over with you just some temporary lighting that you could use when the grid goes down, or if your power's out, or if you're in the backwoods or you're off grid for some reason. Just some temporary lighting that you could use for that purpose. What I didn't go over is any type of permanent lighting for off-grid circumstances, any gas lighting or permanently mounted lighting. That'll probably be a different video at some point, but we're not going to do that today. But if you have any other questions, please, you know, comment down below on the video. Please like and subscribe to our page. We got a lot of other great videos coming out real soon. Thanks.